when you had to come on?
Paul, I'll just start to say that is this on? Yeah. Doesn't matter. A very, very difficult day, both professionally and personally, when you have to go through something like this and understand that professionally, the person that hires you and your staff and is responsible for if every player maybe not being there, but certainly the last contract that they signed, loses his job because of the performance of the people that he put in place to do the job. And clearly the responsibility to perform is on the players and on the coaches. I have not come off my expectations from our hockey team, so I understand that we did not meet our expectations to this point of the season. And maybe more so, it's a more difficult day personally, because you, in intense environments, you have you bond and you form relationships that aren't even normal. You count on each other so much for their support and as a coach-GM relationship, the guidance that you need from each other on a daily basis, and put it into this market as well, and the intensity of that. Then you have a friendship and certainly a feeling that you want to look out for someone and do what's best for them, and having them lose their job again because of your performance is very, very difficult to take. So you will try desperately to look for the positives, and for me it was John's example and leadership through difficult times was just something to see, and I don't think you get to see it unless you're on the inside. Clearly the scrutiny and the focus has been intense, and he understood that, and but was an excellent example, always there with support, and open with his convictions and what he believed in about the hockey team, and an absolute pleasure to work for, completely and totally. I'd like to congratulate Mr. Fletcher on his position. Looking forward to working with him and moving forward. So, you have questions that you would like to ask, feel free.
Will your role with Cliff be one of moving forward in terms of change and apprising him of what's gone on here and how his team might get better?
Myself and our staff will give Mr. Fletcher our opinions on the individual pieces that are in the locker room, and maybe more importantly, how those pieces fit together. And work very, very hard at winning hockey games with our locker room.
Paul, have you had a chance to speak with John?
Yes. And I understand your interest, but those are private conversations.
Paul, was there, you knew what was going on over the past couple of weeks, the kind of debates that were being discussed. Cliff said today that you'll stay through at least for the rest of the year. Did you worry that this announcement might have been about you as much as it was about John?
Really, worry is the right word. You worry about your wins and losses. We haven't had enough of the former, and I think you have to work in the job to understand. And it's not that you don't have the capacity to understand. You have to actually do it to understand that you lose that concern very, very early on. Nobody wants to lose their job, but the idea of keeping your job and losing forever is far more frightening. You want to win. That's how you got here. This is the best league in the world, and it attracts very, very competitive people. And winning is a necessary. It's what drives you. We haven't won enough for anybody to be in a good mood, but your job security is not something that comes with the job. It only comes with winning.
Paul Cliff says you have the job until the end of the year. Any indication that what would precipitate you having that going beyond the end of the year?
Whoever is, if there is, whoever is the new general manager will act no differently than John would have had he been here toward the end of the year. The GM will assess the performance of the team, the performance of the coaches, and make those decisions.
Paul, over here. John brought you back to the NHL. Just being honest, is there time in this job to feel sorry for a former boss, if you will, or is it always sort of looking forward?
I don't feel sorry for John. I don't think that. I think he's a far stronger man than needs my sympathy. I'm disappointed with our performance for him. But listen, this guy's a very, very bright man, hard-working guy, and he's going to do just fine. May not feel it today, but that's because he's exceptionally competitive. And you all know it by now, just from the comments that you've heard over the last 2 weeks from people that are inside the game around the league. This guy, he's special. It's a tough market. And there have been other GMs that had the exact same set of keys that he got at the start that, how do you people phrase it, that rebuilding plan accidentally happened after they had lost 20 of their first 30 games and then the plan came together. So I believe he's got a winning record and he's going to do just fine.
Paul, is there any danger here that players start looking over their shoulders as to what might happen to them?
I don't think there's a danger to that.
Do you think they will?
I think it's inevitable. But there's a simple solution to all these things, and there has been one from the start of the year. We just can win some games.
Paul, specifically with the trade deadline coming up next month, do you have any specific needs, or what are you wishing for as far as this trade deadline coming up? What would you like to see?
Health. I'd like to be healthy. I feel fine, but I'd like our team to be healthy. I have enjoy the role of coach. I enjoy giving my opinion. I have very strong opinions about players and their character and how they fit. But look forward to coaching the locker room as fit. And I don't. That's their job. That's management's job to choose the players to fit the team. And my job is to get the most out of them.
Paul, would you have any interest in being the next general manager of the Leafs?
After we win about 3 Stanley Cups, I think that might be a nice transition. But I'd like to do it. I was going to say where
Is that something in your future that you're interested in moving into upper management and away from coaching? Or?
I think being that I got into it so young, there's probably a natural progression that's going to happen as soon as I've seen enough stomach specialists and you go through coaching. I think there is a shelf life to it. But I'd like to win here as a coach, first and foremost.
Is there any sense of relief that this is
No,
planned?
none, absolutely not. Just disappointment. No relief.
We'll take a couple more.
Paul, you left the practice, or left the ice about 10 minutes into practice. Is that when you found out John actually started?
Yes.
Last one. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Paul.